Welcome to Iraqi Dinar Update, your go-to source for the latest news, expert insights, and real-time developments on Iraq's currency, economy, and financial reforms. Whether you're a long-time investor or just curious about the dinar, you're in the right place. The issue of Iraq's 2023-24 federal budget schedules has become a point of contention, confusion, and speculation among observers, investors, and policymakers alike. At the heart of this silence or delay lies a critical and sensitive issue: the exchange rate of the Iraqi dinar. In a country where monetary reform is underway and where foreign observers are watching closely for signs of economic transition and financial modernization, the release of the budget schedules has taken on symbolic and practical importance. While Iraq did pass a 3-year budget law in 2023, unprecedented in its scope and in theory covering 2023, 2024, and 2025, the truth is that the actual implementation schedules for each fiscal year must still be ratified and released by Parliament before they are actionable. And therein lies the problem. The 2024 budget schedules have not been made public, nor have they been formally reviewed by Parliament. For many watching closely, this signals a broader monetary event in waiting. The growing consensus among those in the know is that this delay is not simply due to bureaucratic sluggishness or legislative backlog, but rather due to the anticipated change in Iraq's official exchange rate policy. To understand this situation, one must look beyond the surface and into the underlying economic and political dynamics that frame Iraq's current position. Iraq is in the middle of one of the most complex monetary reform programs it has undertaken since the early 2000s, when the new Iraqi dinar was introduced with IMF and US support. The Central Bank of Iraq, CBI, has been laying the groundwork for greater transparency, a digital transformation of banking infrastructure, and, most importantly, movement toward a unified and possibly flexible exchange rate mechanism that reflects market realities and boosts foreign investor confidence. This means the government cannot continue to operate with outdated monetary assumptions. The exchange rate is the linchpin of any budget, especially in a country like Iraq where over 90% of public revenue comes from oil exports priced in US dollars. A change in the dinar's exchange rate has enormous implications for how revenues are calculated, how government wages are paid, and how development projects are financed. The 2023-24 budget schedules, which are supposed to break down annual appropriations based on the larger 3-year law, must reflect the true purchasing power of the dinar, or they will be fundamentally flawed. It would make no sense to issue budget schedules based on an old or transitional rate if the government and central bank are on the verge of redenominating or adjusting the value of the national currency. That's why so many believe that the Parliament will not even see these budget schedules until the exchange rate is officially addressed, either through a formal announcement by the CBI or as a central feature of the revised budget data. And since the budget documents must be submitted to Parliament for review and execution, this creates a kind of bottleneck. No one wants to act prematurely. Another factor is political. Iraq's government has faced pressure from multiple sides to manage its monetary policy more transparently and more effectively. The population is sensitive to prices, wages, and living costs, all of which are directly influenced by currency policy. Moreover, there is the ever-present influence of geopolitical developments, including relations with the United States, Iran, Gulf nations, and other major players. A stable, convertible dinar would signal Iraq's return to financial normalcy and global economic participation. But to reach that point, the budget must reflect new realities. Publishing the budget schedules without addressing the exchange rate would essentially be a declaration that no change is coming, which few believe to be true. Indeed, the Parliament itself is unlikely to accept the schedules unless they are paired with clear and credible monetary data. The finance committees within the legislature require firm numbers in order to review, amend, and ultimately approve the line-item appropriations. If those numbers are based on an incorrect exchange rate, it would throw off every projection for revenue, spending, and debt. Iraq's debt is another crucial issue, as portions of it are dollar-denominated. Any adjustment to the dinar's exchange rate will affect debt service costs and reserve balances. Hence, this is not merely a symbolic moment, it is structurally significant. Parliamentarians are aware of this, as are the ministries that rely on budget execution to function. The Central Bank of Iraq, meanwhile, continues to issue signals that it is preparing for such a shift. Governor Ali al-Alak and his deputies have made repeated public statements about currency reform, exchange rate mechanisms, and the modernization of Iraq's financial system. The introduction of the digital dinar pilot project, efforts to integrate with SWIFT and international correspondent banking, and compliance with global anti-money laundering standards all point toward a system being retooled for a new era. But such reforms require a foundation in fiscal policy. That foundation is the national budget. And until that budget is updated to reflect a new or adjusted exchange rate, the reform efforts remain partially suspended. Observers also point to the structure of Iraq's budget law itself, which allows the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Finance to propose updates or changes to the schedules year by year within the 3-year framework. This means that a 2024 budget schedule, even if delayed, would still be legally valid once passed, so long as it fits within the overall envelope passed in 2023. But that only increases the importance of getting the exchange rate right. A miscalculation would not only impact 2024 but could undermine the credibility of the entire multi-year budget framework. Therefore, what we are witnessing is a carefully staged choreography in which the central bank, the Ministry of Finance, and Parliament are each waiting for the optimal moment to act, so that when the 2024 budget schedule is finally unveiled, it aligns perfectly with the monetary reality. It's not incompetence or mere delay. It is a function of timing, signaling, and the critical importance of the exchange rate in shaping the future of Iraq's economy. In short, the release of the 2023-24 budget schedules is being strategically delayed until Iraq is ready to publicly commit to a new exchange rate regime. Parliament cannot meaningfully evaluate or pass the schedules until this cornerstone policy is made explicit. Once the exchange rate is exposed, revealed through either official CBI documentation or embedded within the revised budget itself, then and only then can Parliament proceed with its review. Until that moment, everyone remains in a kind of institutional holding pattern, waiting for the monetary curtain to lift. That is where we are right now. Thanks for tuning into Iraqi Dinar Update. If you found this content helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a beat on Iraq's evolving financial landscape. Stay informed and stay ready.